point of leftist glee over President Trump's diagnosis with the Chinese coronavirus, let's talk about how peaceful and tolerant and accepting these people really are. Because as they have their celebrations online about how they hope that President Trump dies, I mean, there's that, and there's also the rioting that they take place in, destroying property, in some cases even shooting people. And then there's what's barely covered, which is the attempted assassinations against President Trump. In fact, there was one recently, and you probably haven't heard about it. Pascal Ferrier, bear with me, she's French, sent ricin to President Trump in late September. Now, if you don't know, ricin is a deadly poison that's extracted from castor beans. In this case, it was powdered up and enclosed with a letter in the hopes that President Trump would open it and inhale it and that it would kill him. That was the plan. Let's take a look at the letter from Pascal, because, again, the media didn't cover it, so let's go. I have found the new name for you, the ugly tyrant clown. I hope you like it. You ruin USA and lead them to disaster. I have US cousins, then I don't want the next 4 years with US president. Give up and remove your application for this election. So I made a special gift for you to help you to make a decision. This gift is in this letter. If it doesn't work, I'll find a better recipe for another poison, or I might use my gun when I'll be able to come. Enjoy from the free rebel spirit. Yes, it's almost like leftism is a mental illness, isn't it? I mean, the media didn't cover it because they didn't want her to look too deranged, perhaps. Now, on the return address on the envelope, she actually used the correct postal code. That's basically the Canadian equivalent for a zip code. And she used the wrong street address, so she got investigators really close to her location. I don't know if that's just idiocy or what, but she'd used the correct postal code. So, Pascal Ferrier, she is a 53-year-old computer programmer who is originally from France, but became a Canadian citizen in 2015 and has lived there. I think it's interesting that she's a computer programmer, because those on the left are always talking about how the internet radicalizes, as they like to call us, right-wingers, but radicalizes conservatives. And in fact, you're talking about someone who's radicalized by big tech. Like, radicalization actually happens on the left. This is someone who, no matter what your definition is radicalized, right? Attempted to assassinate the president for political reasons. Was radicalized into terrorism. And by the way, I'm not using the terms like alleged at this point because even the FBI says that the letter, the ricin letter, had her fingerprints on it. That's about as incriminating as you can get. And when you really look at the whole picture, well, that made it pretty easy for them to find her, especially when she already has a criminal record in the United States. You see, in March 2019, she was arrested in Texas, yes, Texas here in the US, for unlawfully carrying a weapon and for using a fake driver's license. Yes, back then, she was deported to Canada after officials said that she had overstayed her visa and committed a crime while in the US. Alright, so she was here in Texas driving around with a fake driver's license, carrying a weapon that she wasn't authorized to have. We deported her. Then she sends this letter, right, containing ricin to the President of the United States. What did she do next? She tried to re-enter the United States. I mean, that's just so stupid, I don't know what to say. But that's how, or where, she was caught. She was arrested at the border crossing in Buffalo, New York. And when she was arrested, the arresting officers said that she had a gun tucked in her waistband and a knife in her pocket. That gun was loaded with 7 bullets. In her backpack, she had 294 bullets, I'm not sure what she was expecting, a stun gun, pepper spray, a collapsible baton, and another fake Texas driver's license. And by the way, before I get going with this, aren't these libtards all in favor of gun control? All in favor of disarming the people? Stripping guns away? And yet you have them who seem to be the people who enact political violence. They're the people who do shoot people. You look at these Black Lives Matter events and so on. That's where they're the people who actually use the guns unlawfully to attack people. Anyway, these leftists, they all talk about how violence is on the right? You're going to hear about Charlottesville, for example, for the next 10 years, as an example of how violent, racist, and just bad every conservative is. But you won't hear about actual assassination attempts by leftists. It was in the news for about 2 hours before they moved on. And by the way, Charlottesville was a mostly peaceful protest, wasn't it? I mean, if you use their definitions, it certainly was mostly peaceful. Certainly a lot more peaceful than the riots that they've been taking part in. But the way that media covers this sort of thing is disgusting. For example, while they, talk about Charlottesville at every chance they get, they've buried the story of the Bernie Sanders supporter who shot at members of Congress. Have you forgotten already? If so, that's intentional. And they have lent basically no coverage to the recent Black Lives Matter supporter who tried to run over Trump supporters with her vehicle. And then there's, of course, this most recent case with the ricin, attempting to poison the President of the United States. It didn't get coverage because it doesn't fit the narrative, it doesn't fit the agenda of the mainstream media. But really, I think we have a word for people who commit acts of political violence, don't we? Can you think of it? They're terrorists. They're terrorists by definition. Wait, if you enjoyed that video, please remember to like and share. I can't grow without you. Also, if you want to be reliably notified of new videos, don't forget to subscribe to the newsletter. If you're able to support the production of these videos, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe at Subscribestar, or maybe get one of the healthier products, or even get some merch.